I need you to help me see clearly this Saturday foggy morning. Is Trump a racist? That's the question. And question number two, and this is quite an important question. If Trump was black, do you think with his 91 felonies...
Law and order candidate.
Who's he kidding? Trump's campaign manager is a felon. His deputy campaign manager is a felon. His national security advisor, a felon. His foreign policy advisor is a felon. His personal lawyer is a felon. His longtime personal advisor, a felon. Nixon was bad. Trump is worse.
He would be treated differently. Press the like button for yes if you think yes, Trump is a racist, and 2, if he was black with the 91 felonies, he would be treated totally different.
And we will pledge ourselves.
You know what? Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
And on Friday, you introduced Donald Trump at a group of black conservatives. He made a number of headline-making comments, including this one. Take a look.
I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated.
Once again, I'm not a Trumper. I dislike Trump. I'm not voting for him, not now, not never. But I'm a sneaker collector into the art, so I had to find these.
I love those pink signs. Women for Trump. I love the signs behind me. Blacks for Trump. I like those signs. Blacks for Trump. You watch. You watch. Those signs are great. Thank you.
Of Blacks for Trump dates back to the early 2000s when a man named Michael Simonette, also known as Michael the Black Man, founded the movement. Simonette, a former member of the Yahweh Ben Yahweh cult, has been a vocal supporter of President Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Blacks for Trump gained national attention during the 2016 presidential election when Simonette appeared at several Trump rallies holding signs and wearing t-shirts in support of the then candidate. The movement seeks to garner support for Trump within the black community and challenge the perception that all black Americans are Democrats. Despite their small numbers and controversial leader, Blacks for Trump has continued to make appearances at political events and rallies, advocating for issues such as criminal justice reform, economic empowerment, and education within the black community. Some critics argue that the group is not representative of the broader black population and has been used by the Trump administration to deflect accusations of racism. While Blacks for Trump remains a polarizing and divisive presence in American politics, their history sheds light on the complex interplay of race, politics, and identity in the United States.
How did I meet him? The first time I really met him, I was doing parties in West Palm Beach at some of his events. And then I met him at an event where in 2011 when he announced he was running for president, I was called by the people that was doing that event for me to sing behind him. So I sang behind him, and then I stood behind him. And the reason I liked him, because like Cyrus in the Bible was supposed to be a bombastic, egotistical warmonger. In the last days, I was taught by Yahweh Ben Yahweh that it would be a white man like that that would come to help deliver us out of the king of Babylon's hand. And that's Isaiah 45, 1 through 5. And guess what? Trump got, the press accuses him of all of those accolades. And he's not afraid, and he won't back down. That's my man. And then you can't pay him off. So he's not found wanting. So therefore I stand behind him because he could have just lived opulently like Moses could have did the same thing.
Black people liking him because he was indicted. He was like, and this guy knows Trump. So I just wonder what you make of the fact that you have now hip-hop artists willing to associate their brand with him, knowing what we know about him, 1 million people dead from COVID, you know, the things he did as president. Does it surprise you that people who are usually so brand aware would let their brand be associated with him now?
You know all those videos when people go to Trump rallies and they ask them ridiculous questions and then they give ridiculous answers that don't make sense, that don't comport with political reality? We see a lot of that with the rappers who are talking about why they support Trump. Kanye said when he wears the hat, he feels like Superman. What does that mean? Sexy Red, very popular rapper last year, said that she supports Trump because she appreciates the stimulus checks. Right. Joy, which party was part of getting us those stimulus checks?
It was Nancy Pelosi. it was the Democrat.
So the sexy red is giving credit to Trump for something that he did not do and that he opposed.
And now let's play. What do you notice about the audience at Lumpy's Black Conservatives event?
Good. These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? These lights. We've come a long way together. Lynn Patton.
Let's be very clear. Our economy is a mess. Our border is completely unsecured. These things are causes of major concerns for black voters, like it is for every voter in our country. But then when you layer on the fact that, yes, this is political persecution from the Department of Justice and from radical DAs throughout our country, this is something similar that black people had to deal with the justice system themselves. And so their look of it is real simple. Well, dang, if the government's going after him with foolishness, he can't be that bad, especially considering the fact that Joe Biden is terrible at his job.
Well, Congressman, let's just be clear. All 4 indictments against former President Trump were brought by grand juries. There is no evidence that the indictments are political in nature. But let me stick to the question here. Let me get you to respond to Biden campaign co-chair and former Congressman Cedric Richmond, who said this about his comments. Donald Trump claiming that black Americans will support him because of his criminal charges is insulting. It's moronic. And it's just plain racist. How do you respond to that charge, that it's just plain racist?
What I would say is that Cedric is trying to play politics and use racial politics even now as we get into the general election. That's one. Number two, like I said at the top, the number one reason why minority voters in our country want to support Donald Trump is because he did the job of president. He did a great job.
Said that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing, but it possibly, I don't know, maybe there's something there.
And persecuted. And a lot of people in the community, especially in the black community, who have felt that there's multi-tiers of justice, are seeing that played out in front of their very eyes. And they're saying, yeah, I can relate to this guy. This guy is going through some things that either myself or my family have gone through. And this is a very relatable moment for a lot of people. So seeing this mugshot as a big, to the media and to the political pundits it's a big deal. And it really does resonate within the community.
Tia, want to get your comments there.
Well, no, I agree, especially coming from an education perspective. You know, he didn't say, if you're not black if you don't vote for me. You know, he was just stating the truth, and that's what sometimes we need to hear. For too long,
specific Trump policies do you feel have helped black Americans?
Well, I mean, I'll start with myself. I was a Democrat for all my life, my entire family. But it was around COVID time when I started paying attention to policies being made. Like, I started paying attention to, when Trump and other politicians were listening to the parents, the people who really had voices that matter. Because if you look at the media now, no one's paying attention to the parents and what we need. And just because I'm a black parent doesn't mean that I care less about my child.
Black Lives Matter movement, in particular, gained momentum during Trump's presidency, as many Americans, especially people of color, sought to address systemic racism and police violence. Trump's response to the movement was often confrontational, focusing on law and order rather than addressing the root causes of racial inequality and injustice. Despite these controversies and accusations, Trump supporters argue that he is not racist and that his policies were aimed at protecting national security and American jobs. They point to his efforts to renegotiate trade deals, strengthen immigration enforcement, and prioritize American workers as evidence of his commitment to the country's interests rather than any racial bias.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best.
Do you think Donald Trump is racist?
I do. This man is either himself a racist or is happy to empower racists.
Infest our country, he is dehumanizing people.
He is, according to many people, a racist.
He called Mexicans rapists. Y'all, tonight at a rally in South Carolina, Donald Trump actually said this.
Good. These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones. You see? That's how far I've come.
What's the deal? See who I'm sitting next to? Donald Trump. Smell the money.
One thing is clear. The debate over Trump's stance on racism will continue to be a defining aspect of his political legacy.
19 days out from the election, you've been labeled a racist, you've been called a sexist. How do you respond to that?
I am the least racist person you've ever met.